Hey everybody, I'm Bill Harvey with the Auto Dealership Academy. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Just had to make sure that both platforms were up and running there, so that's why there's a little bit of a delay, and I'm watching the two and the little countdown timer. And anyway, happy post-Halloween for everybody. I hope you had a fantastic Halloween. It was very cold in our neck of the woods, that's for sure. Gosh, it snowed. It snowed earlier before it actually got dark. So for those poor little individuals running along, collecting their treats and seeing their tricks, oh, I hope they had a great time. I did a lot with my two, and we had an absolutely fantastic time. We were joking about it, and I always went out as a deer hunter because I have the blaze orange jacket and the blaze orange cap and a lot of hunting gear. I'm not deer hunting anymore, but it was just a great time. The kids said, "Oh yeah, Dad, you always went out as a deer hunter." Anyway, let's talk about today's session on negotiation. Now, just before I do, I just want to share with you, because I haven't done a great job, in my opinion, of sharing with you the manifesto. The whole point of the private members Facebook group is to introduce you to the manifesto. And the manifesto is one system for automobile salespeople to follow that you'll have for lifetime, where you get me on demand on video lessons that's available on any platform: smartphone, tablet, laptop, desktop, anywhere there is an internet connection. So I even had Francis, who is a client, a recent client, call me right out of the blue, and this is what reminded me of it. And he said, "Hey Bill, I just want to make sure that we're totally transparent in our understanding of I've got the system forever, because I'm going on a dream trip and I'm going to be away for 4 months, and I want to make sure when I come back, I'm still going to be able to access it." I said, "Yes, Francis, you can. In fact, if I didn't share this with you before, you can access it while you're away on your trip." And he actually said, "Great idea. Oh my gosh, that's amazing." I said, "Look, I don't expect you to do that on your trip. But if you had 10 minutes a day, first thing in the morning, as long as you have an internet connection on your smartphone, you could watch it, stay abreast of all the video lessons that are going on, including this negotiation and closing that we did last week, and prospect harvesting pipeline the previous week, and presentation sequence the previous week." I think you're getting a little bit of an idea of what my system is all about. The manifesto brings together on any platform the 3 phases of 3 steps per phase. So it's one system of 3 phases and 9 steps that you can capitalize on. And the best part about that is these are the only 9 things that you need to know to be able to sell double digits every single month with predictable consistency. And that made so much sense to me, because I got a call from another one of our participants. Oh my gosh, now. Justin. Justin reached out to me right out of the blue and said, "Hey, look, I'm selling 18 vehicles a month. How do I break into the 20s? And I said, "Well, number one, do you feel overwhelmed? Number 2, there are apps and technology that you can leverage so that you don't always have to be on the computer, or that you don't always have to be on stage. And certainly when you're with a customer and you're doing the presentation, then you will not always have that freedom and flexibility of time to do so. So time management, personal productivity, leveraging apps and technology to fill a pipeline of customers. That's really what the manifesto is all about. But that's not what you came here to find out all about today. If you want to know more about it, however, book a call. I'll put the link down below at the end of the video, and 15 minutes could really change your life. Reach out to me, either on a Zoom call or just over a telephone call. I will be the person picking that up, not somebody on my team. You'll be talking to a real person. I like handling those calls because I like getting to know you better. I partner with everybody that I work with personally, and then afterwards you'll get to do the on-demand, the virtual classrooms every single week, and get me one-on-one, where you can book as many of those sessions as you want. So let's talk today about negotiation, the power of negotiation, getting to yes. That's really what you came here to find out all about. The first step to getting to yes is the power of persuasion. Now, persuasion with respect to negotiation can be tainted. Persuasion can be misguided. And there's a lot of bad teachers and trainers and speakers talking about the power of persuasion within negotiation, because it generally winds up squeezing and browbeating somebody and beating them into submission. Like, one of the tactics of negotiation, a classic tactic taught in all negotiation scenarios, is don't serve anything more than tap water and decaffeinated coffee without cream and sugar. Because cream and sugar, or any kind of sugar drink, will when somebody's blood sugar level is getting low and their stomach is turning itself inside out because they've been working with you for a period of time, you could leverage that as pressure, a tactic in negotiation to convince them to move forward and purchase something. And I don't want to encourage you to do that. I want you to know that that is a tactic, especially if it was ever done to you. But on the other side of the equation, the power of persuasion, especially when it comes to selling automobiles, is a whole lot simpler than that. The power of persuasion is really understanding the buyer behavior. Now, I spent a lot of time on that in the automotive buyer's journey at the very beginning of the manifesto. And if you scroll down and watch some of the videos further down, you'll see me talk about those 4 different types of behaviors. So you need to be able to recognize, and you can easily and quickly by the clothing that they wear, the cadence of speech of how they talk, the content of what they say will determine what kind of buyer behavior you have. And then, of course, the easiest and fastest way for you to get under their skin, really win them over quickly so they don't become an adversarial negotiator, is for you to mirror and match them. And I've spoken eloquently and well, not so much eloquently, you may not think so, but I spoke extensively, let's say it that way, that knowing the buyer behavior that you have is crucial in order for you to be able to determine and steer and guide them in the direction of helping them make the decision that you want them to make. A lot along the lines of Spencer Johnson's little book, The 1 Minute Salesperson, where you see them getting what they want, so you see yourself getting what you want. So tailor your persuasion tactics in negotiation, getting to yes, based on the behavior of the individual that you've got. So again, I want to really encourage you to go back and have a look at the Dynamic Buyer Odyssey, which is the automobile buyer's journey that they take and the transformation that they make, because this is what your value bridge is all about. You build the value bridge demonstrating how magnificent your product is and superiority in the marketplace, but they can get that anywhere. Always remember that. You are the difference. They can buy an automobile anywhere at all, online, have it delivered to their door. We know there are services like that. You offer those services. If I asked you to bring it to me and there was a significant gross profit in the deal, I'm sure you would do the same. If I asked you to tow it, I know some of the luxury brands absolutely do that all the time, certainly for delivery purpose. So the point is, as you are being persuasive with this individual, trying to get to yes, mirror and match their behavior. And the second step that we need to very quickly transition to, once we've determined based on the clothing they're wearing, the cadence of speech, the words that they use, the detail that they're looking for, now we need to work and be adaptable. This adaptability is where we're able to pivot and be guided by the client in where we want to go, because that's the fastest and easiest way for you to get to yes, right? Without putting up a whole lot of resistance. Look, you know you're in negotiation right now because somebody has said no. Now, interestingly enough, as we've just come through the inventory shortage and all those crazy deals where we just didn't have any product on the ground and the customer had one choice and there was no negotiation on price, and if they didn't take it, somebody else would get it. Interestingly enough, negotiation, as much as you may debate it with me, didn't exist. It did, because when the customer said, well, do you have another color? Or the customer said, do I have to pay that price? Or the customer said, I don't want it until this date. Or the customer said, no, I'm not buying right now. I'm just finding out what inventory is like. And when I do want to purchase, whenever somebody says no to your trial balloon, your trial question, I'm making the gesture of a balloon flying up because that's really what it's all about. When somebody says no, you have now entered negotiation, which is better known as the risk and the conflict zone. And in the risk and the conflict zone, you really have to be adaptable to be able to figure out how to help this individual purchase their automobile. For instance, this time of the year, and it resonated with me, and I'll tell the story in handling and being prepared to handle objections in a second. This time of the year, and again, it was reminded by a student, Rebecca, who's fantastic, and she's in the top 1% of the entire group and a member of the manifesto. But with respect to adaptability, this time of the year, a lot of consumers think that they're doing us a huge favor by coming in and being interested and committed to buy our 2023s. Now, as much as they recognize the fact that it is brand new, the warranty starts from right now, and it is a magnificent automobile, and it's everything that they're looking for, they think that we need to get rid of it, and therefore we're prepared to sell it at bargain basement price and just give it away. And so they'll come in rather aggressive, the fists are up, and they're ready to go at it, and negotiation a battle to them, and that is where your power of persuasion comes into play, because you need to get really comfortable with saying no. That instead of saying, well, we can see what we can do, or I could go and talk to the manager, or yeah, we're a little bit flexible, or we have some wiggle room. The reality is we're still in a bit of an inventory shortage, or at best an inventory balance, that the vehicles that we have currently on ground are probably only going to last us for 45, 60, maybe 90 days. That certainly isn't the inventory glut and surplus that we experienced pre-inventory shortage. Like I'm talking 2018, 2017, where we would almost send brand new vehicles to the auction just to free up some capital because we had more product coming down the line. You need to be adaptable with respect to where the buyer is at and their thinking process. And we can share that with them, that as much as the 2023 is offered at this package, this model, these colors, and this price, it is a fantastic deal over the new one, but we're by no means are we ready to gas it, give it away, throw it out, cast it off to the side, because we really just don't have the inventory that we need in order to be able to get through even the winter months. And that, my friends, is leveraging scarcity and urgency, getting to yes. And you must leverage scarcity and urgency to be successful getting to yes. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I know what you're really anxious to hear all about. The little story that Rebecca went through, and handling objections and being prepared for and it's a little bit about managing the expectation of the customer as well, right? This consumer that she was dealing with came in on a current model, we would consider current model, 2023, but because of seasonality, right? We're in Q4, we're going into the holiday season, there's snow on the ground, the front doors of the showroom aren't swinging as fast, the phone isn't ringing as much, and this is where we really need to go to town on improving our closing ratio, being very effective getting to yes, and filling our pipeline all on our own, because advertising may not be doing the trick, or manufacturers may back off on it because they just recognize it's falling on deaf ears anyhow. So what happened with Rebecca is that this guy came in and he was grumpy and moody and thought that he had a fantastic angle and she would be more than willing to accept his offer, and she wasn't. She's very comfortable with no. And she said, no, leveraging scarcity, said, I only have the one. And that one has to last us now 6 months, because the manufacturer said we will not get that particular model for another 6 months. Number one, urgency. She said, what is your current vehicle doing right now? And he said, well, it capped, it quit, it's finished, it's over. This is the reason why I'm shopping now, but I wanted to wait till the end of the summer. I wanted to wait till the end of the fall, till you guys were really hungry and anxious to move some product, and I thought I'd come in and purchase the year-old product as opposed to stepping up and waiting for the brand new product. And she did a magnificent job of saying, hey, look, it doesn't matter to me either way that you go. The bottom line is the one that you're calling a year old is still brand spanking new, albeit it has sat on the ground for a few days, but it's nowhere close to having a birthday. And so, no, we're not negotiable on price. And the guy said, do you want to go to your manager? And this was magnificent. This is where you prepare yourself for the objections, because that customer could have come in. In fact, I think he did. I'm missing a part of the story here. She was telling me the story early in the week. The guy said down the road he could purchase it for X number of dollars. And she didn't say, fine, go and buy 2 because that's a great deal. She didn't say something ridiculous like, if I had a nickel for every time somebody said that. She wasn't rude or obnoxious and said, we're not flexible. We have no movement. You may as well just go and get it there. She was managing the expectation of the customer. She was preparing herself for the objection. And she said this eloquently. She said, don't tell me what that number is. The guy said, I've been down the road, I got a better price, I just want to see what you guys can do. She goes, whatever I do, don't tell me what that better price is down the road. And this is fully delineated and clearly mapped out in talk tracks in the manifesto. And this is what you will get with those 3 phases, the 1 system, and 9 steps. That this is all you will ever need to sell double digits and get on track to make a 6-figure income every single year with predictable consistency, regardless of economy, regardless of region, regardless of brand. Please don't tell me what that number is. Let me tell you what we can do, and you tell me if it is fair. Well, the guy didn't buy. The short end of the story is he didn't buy. He left, he went home, and she's telling me the story afterwards, after he came back and said, hey, look, you kept me up all night. I'll tell you what, this is my eye. He says, this is my eye. She said, no, don't tell me what your offer is. Okay, I'm sorry. There's no other way for me to address this for you. This is what it is. This is what it will cost. And this is how you get it. What, why, how? Magnificent getting to yes. Because what she had, and she knew it, was a round 10 negotiator. And that is the reason why she called me. She said, Bill, when we went through that negotiation exercise, with all the other people virtually online, and we're all playing against ourselves, and we can see each other in the breakout rooms, and it's really quite hilarious because I say, put the cards behind your back or under the desk and draw your card and tell everyone what you got. She said, I had that guy. He came in looking like a really nice negotiator, easygoing, wanted to get a deal like anybody else would, and he wound up being that hard act, saying anything, doing anything, trying to browbeat me into submission to do the deal. And she said, here's the most amazing thing afterwards. He purchases my product, purchases our vehicle, and now we're best of friends. Now he thinks I'm the greatest person in the world. Because only 2 dominant, aggressive, this is going back to the power of persuasion and understanding the buyer profile that you got. Only 2 dominants respect each other. And that friction between the 2 of them is good. When you think it's bad, you need to roll over, you need to take a step back, you need to make it easy for them. No, it isn't. And being comfortable with saying no to those individuals is exactly what they want. If this guy really had a better price down the road, where would he have been? And maybe, hey, the reality is, maybe he did have a better price down the road, but really liked Rebecca's system. She took him through the system, did a proper interview, product presentation, demonstration, found out if there was a trade. Obviously there wasn't because this vehicle had completely quit. And now it's just a matter of setting up the bi-weekly and just going with that 1 payment price, which is absolutely fantastic, as opposed to clearing the lien on a used car and then rolling it into the new one if there is any negative equity, all the rest of it. You know what it's like. You know what I'm talking about. The point is, handling the prospect. Please don't tell me what your better deal is down the road. Managing the expectation. No, don't tell me. Don't make me an offer. This is it. This is what you can get it for. Because that, gang, is what builds a relationship. When I know I've got you all the way, I've got you right up against the ropes as a customer, and I'm pounding at you, and you're not giving up. You're coming back, and you're swinging back as well. I don't want to give the analogy that negotiation is a battle and a fight, but sometimes it kind of feels like that, doesn't it? So manage the customer's expectations so that you can make them feel comfortable about not being able to get any more money off the deal, because really that's what we're talking about in negotiation, getting to yes, preserving gross profit as best we can. When you build this relationship, when you are polite, pleasantly persuasive, and agreeably aggressive, when you understand the desire that they want newer, shiny, faster, better fuel economy, protected payment with a full factory warranty, but they're fearful of buying too soon. They're fearful of this time of year, the manufacturer coming along and offering a great incentive at the end of the year. Sometimes they'll do that, right? They'll take the very few models that we have as 2023s, put 0% on them and 20% off and splash that as advertising all over, when the reality is you only have less than 1%, 5%, 4% of your entire inventory on the ground meets those advertising guides. And that's because somebody in advertising, you know who they are, thinks it's fantastic to drive all this traffic to your showroom, and they did something magical and wonderful. Well, anybody can sell vehicles at that price. Come on. What we taught our retailer, what we taught our OEMs throughout the inventory shortage as retailers is you don't need to advertise that stuff. It doesn't hurt to just tell them how fantastic our product is, as opposed to, hey, it's 0% on these 3 vehicles of these oddball packages and colors. And anyhow, I'm prattling, my apologies. Make sure you recognize the desire and the fear, because the pain of purchasing this automobile, and you see this when people are taking delivery, right? You set the delivery expectation and then you wait and you wait and you wait and they're not coming in. You're like, oh my gosh, you're like, does it get any more exciting than purchasing an automobile and coming in to pick it up? And some customers are a little bit reserved and they're hesitant because, well, they quite frankly may have a little imposter syndrome. That yes, they did negotiate a deal. They may feel that it's not the best deal that they could have negotiated anyway, but they needed to solve the pain of or the fear of their vehicle quitting on them, like this poor old gentleman did. And they do want newer, shiny, faster, better fuel economy of the latest, greatest technology. But the pain is if a better deal comes along, or if this isn't the perfect vehicle for me, or am I rushing into this without really doing my homework and due diligence, then am I going to be making a decision? Am I going to be making the wrong decision? And when it comes to the imposter syndrome, maybe when they're picking the vehicle up and they've gone through those three triggers that help us purchase something, they think to themselves, and this is the reason why they're late for their deliveries, is, I'm getting this new vehicle, but I'm kind of embarrassed. Like nobody on my street, in my neighborhood, at work, or in my family has had a new automobile in a long time. And with this fragile economy that we're currently in, we need to give some thought and concern to that. We need to manage the expectation of the customer, and this plays part and parcel with getting to yes. When we understand what that pain point is, that they are spending 2 times, 3 times as much on a bi-weekly payment as what they had on a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16-year-old automobile. It really makes a lot of sense how we need to manage the customer's expectation, how we need to handle and be prepared for what they're going to say. Because that's the reality that we're into, isn't it, gang? The interest rates have certainly lifted bi-weekly. The sudden rise of inflation in North America, it's the same right across the board. We all pay the same price for the vehicles, and the brand that you are currently working for, we are up 20% from 2021 to 2022, and we're up almost 22% on the price of a vehicle from 2022 to 2023. Goodness knows what we're going to see in 2024. I would imagine this fragile economy is putting the brakes on OEMs having to rise that price. But at the end of the day, the OEM isn't just arbitrarily raising the price. Their costs have gone up as well. This is what all factors into how we arrive at the sweet spot, the monthly payment, that bi-weekly. And they're extremely sensitive to it as well. But costs more to get steel, just as we've seen through union negotiations. It costs more to get people. We're seeing it with our hydro and our utility bills. It costs more to get the utilities into these places. So consequently, we need to recognize the relationship that we're building with the client, even during negotiation, even with those tough negotiators that will say or do anything at all costs, that by being really comfortable in the risk and the conflict zone with saying no, as Rebecca did so well, is actually more helpful than running up to your manager to see if you can get a great deal. Now, your management policy could be nobody walks till the boss talks, and I get that. I agree with it. I did leverage it in my dealership. I was exactly the same way. But make sure just before you let that customer leave, and the boss is going to come and talk to them, that you have figured out the behavior that you've got, that you have offered the adaptability in order to get to yes. You see, the customer-focused approach to the negotiation is offering choices. So this is my next bullet point, and this is how you overcome objections easiest of all. It's not about tricky talk tracks. It's not about being on your feet and overcoming the toughest sales guy in the room, as we've seen those big monster truck voices on YouTube talk about how they do negotiation and closing and being challenged. It's not always a challenge. You can just be comfortable in your own shoes, in your own skin, overcoming those objections just by offering choices to get to yes. And if you offer one choice, if you go and get a price on one vehicle, or if you create bi-weekly prices on one vehicle, you're leaving the customer with one of two choices, yes or no. That's all there is. Make sure you don't corner them in that capacity. Thank you for whoever that was that sent up the balloons. That was fantastic as a celebration. That's great. Overcoming those objections, getting to yeses, is just being a customer yourself. Just thinking, okay, if this one is too expensive, what else can I show them? But you never serve up a price. Here's the secret. This is the problem with average ordinary sales trainers, teachers, and authors, is they put that closing and negotiating step as a step in the 8 steps to your success. And it's not. It's not actually a step at all. You should be trial closing all the way through each one of the 8 steps, gaining commitment all along the way, so that if I were your manager and you were coming up to me to say, hey boss, they're going to leave and they're going to think about it because we can't agree on the number, I could say, okay, fantastic. How do you know that they're absolutely for sure going to take this vehicle? And you could say, at the greeting, it was unquestionable. That's what they came in to see. At the interview, I sent up the trial balloons based on the advertised price, that this is the vehicle they would like to go with, and it's in the range. You know, I took them out and I showed them the vehicle and made sure they liked what I was talking about. We drove it to prove how a world-class automobile rides and drives and handles based on the claims that I made in the walk-around. This is what they were looking for. Yes, 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 yes. You see how getting to yes is micro steps all along the way. If anything, you get them accustomed to saying yes, yes, yes. Because the conditioned response is what? No, right? The conditioned response is no, I don't want her. No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to buy right now. Or no, I nothing you can say or do will help me make the decision right now. No, 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 no. We need to condition them. We need to help them get over that hurdle because they've transcended a process. You know that. And this is how you get to 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month when you understand how getting to yes is about, and this is the reason why I leave it as my last most important point, overcoming the objections, is offering choices. Because when the customer has choices, they feel like they're in control. So for instance, let's go back to, and I have several worksheets on this, and I'm happy to share with you what those worksheets look like. And in subsequent live sessions, maybe I'll put the camera over top of the worksheet and I'll show you exactly how it works. When you come up with a bi-weekly and it's too much and you're trying to get to yes, you could, or I shouldn't say you could say this, I'm going to ask you, could you say this? Could you say to your shopper, look, we're on the right vehicle. However, the choices that you're making are what's determining the bi-weekly. Let me show you. It just comes down to features and options. We're on the right vehicle. However, the features and options make the difference. Let me show you. Whatever talk track you would like to use, this is how we make the decision. This is how you would make the decision if you came into you to purchase an automobile. And this is what the customer focus approach is all about. So for instance, you could have a customer to say, whoa, that bi-weekly's 3 times what, let's put it in real numbers. They were paying $185 a month. Now they're paying $602 bi-weekly. They were paying $185 bi-weekly. I said a month, my apologies. $185 bi-weekly. Now they're over $600 bi-weekly. That's more than 3 times. That's a big jump. Would that be a tough objection for you to overcome? Well, you can use the old payment versus new payment worksheet, and I'm happy to share those details with you. Book a discovery call with me. I'll walk you through it. I'll show you instantly and easily. I mean, it's not secret stuff. Once you see it once, you're going to be able to figure it out. But what I'm talking about is the choices. So that's only one choice where you say, okay, look, you could keep your old car and keep paying it, or you can go with the new one. The one I'm talking about right here is the options you choose create the difference. Let me show you. So now, writing it down on paper, you would start with a pre-owned or a model down or even just a trim level down, and then add the things in. Now this gets a little challenging, especially with luxury imports and Korean and Japanese imports, because so many of your automobiles are just packaged together in 3 different ways: a base, mid, and high level trim, and that's it. But you could assign things that they get going from an LX to a touring package, that the aluminum wheels or the power sliding moonroof or the larger screen display or leather upholstery or heated and massage and air conditioned seats and heated steering wheel, and the list goes on. You could show them by breaking those things out, by starting off at a trim level down or even a model down, going from, I'm thinking going from an Escalade to a Denali or to a High Country, or from a Laramie down to an XLT. You could show them that we're on the right vehicle. However, the options you choose create the difference by adding a dollar amount, assigning a dollar amount, for lack of a better term, to that particular feature, and then adding it all up, which comes out to the vehicle that you showed, the vehicle that they said, yeah, I like it. Remember, in your interview, if you didn't share with them what the advertised price is, and you're assuming that they will pay any price that you ask, is one of the mistakes that you're going to make, and that's why you're confronted with this at the very end, overcoming these objections. This could be the hurdle that you're running up against. So to fix that, you can follow this system, offering choices. You could offer them longer terms. If you're quoting 84 months right out of the gate with 0 down, I think you're creating a barrier for yourself. Always put some money down, because you can subtract the money down and get to 0 if they can tolerate a little higher monthly payment. And now we're negotiating to yes. You could select a model down that's a little less expensive. Now we're negotiating to yes. You could suggest lease versus finance, and now we're negotiating to yes. You could suggest a balloon payment or an equity payment. That's one of my favorites. Put some money down in order to be able to get to yes. The fact that you only have one vehicle sitting in front of you, only one automobile that the client is considering, only 2 choices, yes or no, is what closes the door on negotiation for you, not getting to yes. So let me wrap this all up for you. I'm a little bit over time, my apologies. Recognize the kind of buyer that you have. There are 4 different buyer behaviors. You need to be able to recognize them. It's easy as pie once you do, based on the cadence of what they speak, the content of what they say, the clothes that they wear, even the clipboard that they're holding in their hand. The adaptability is your ability to be flexible, pleasantly persuasive, and agreeably aggressive to handle those prospect stipulations, strategies, when they walk in and they've done their research and they can get it for less down the road. Definitely don't ask them what they can get it for. Definitely don't worry about trying to make the same deal, because they're not going to, here's another tactic in negotiation, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to subtract a little bit of dollars off, a little bit of the amount off of that, just to make sure that they're getting the absolute best deal that they can, and they're keeping you on track. Manage their expectations, right? Recognizing that desire, fear, and pain of making this decision. Then build a relationship. You know what kind of buyer that they are. You can get under their skin. You can continue to reinforce what they said yes to, yes to, yes to, yes to, following the overview, benefit, and permission commitment strategy. And I share that with you extensively in the 8 steps to the sale, as well as presentation secrets. So scroll down into previous feeds of other videos and have a look at that. And then overcome the objection. The objection is super easy to overcome. But if you run right up to the desk right away with an offer, you're giving the client one of 2 choices. Yes or no when you come back. If you can meet their number, fantastic. If you can't meet their number and you're presenting another number, you're likely going to get the conditional response, which is not the answer that you want to have, and then they're going to go home and think about it. Now, you may have to send some of these people home to think about it. That's perfectly fine. Now we aggressively follow up with them, as I have talked about in prospect harvesting and the pipeline, filling your pipeline. We aggressively follow up with those individuals to bring them back to the dealership with choices. not on the choice that they said no to. We have to postulate more choices. And this is where choice theory really kicks in. Look, if you want to know more about that, if you want to know specifically how to do it with magnificent success, like we're talking about a 1 in 3 closing ratio at MSRP, a 1 in 2 closing ratio at MSRP, we can preserve the grosses that we have been accustomed to. But we cannot do that, as Napoleon Hill said so eloquently. If you want to earn more, you have to learn more. You need a system to follow. Customers like the system. Customers like your plan. We all like a plan. We like a rule book, so to speak, to follow, because that creates a custom. When something is customary, they know the next step, the next logical step is to say yes, because you've delineated so perfectly, offered choices to steer or guide and direct them to the answer that you want them to make. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. My name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Sales Academy. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and this year is rounding out to be terrific for you. There's still 2 full months left to go for you to be able to hit your sales targets and your goals. Don't just chase goals. That's a message that I want to share with you going forward as well. Those that chase goals struggle forever. My system of 3 phases and 9 steps isn't about chasing a goal. It's the system that gets you to your goal. In the blueprint, you'll delineate what your goal is. Everybody must have goals. We know the importance, the significance of writing them down and holding ourselves accountable. But when we only chase goals, we struggle. When we follow a system, and the system isn't necessarily delivering the goal that we would like to have, then it's time to modify or add to the system. And that's really what I bring to the table. You've got a system, whether you know it or not. Mine is just fully delineated to get you those double digits of 10s, 20s, 30s every single month with predictable consistency that'll put you on track to earn a 6-figure income. Anyway, if you want to talk to somebody about that, the link is below. Schedule time in my calendar. You'll be talking to me, not somebody on my team. I field these calls because I partner with everybody that I work with. You'll have the system of on-demand learning modules. You'll have the live classrooms that happen tomorrow, Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, every single week, all the time. You'll have a chance to work with me one-on-one. It just depends on how much my calendar can handle. So you can book all the times in there, and we can work together to get you to 10s, 20s, 30s, and into the 50s. I know there's a lot of teachers, trainers, speakers, authors out there saying, sell 50 cars a month, get in my 50 car club. They don't have this system. They weren't an automobile dealer principal. They weren't a franchised dealer principal as I was. They weren't a general manager. They may have been a sales manager or a GSM. They were definitely probably a really great salesperson. But they probably weren't national sales training manager for Mercedes-Benz, Chrysler, Honda, Acura, and Ford. This system that I have devised for you will deliver double digits every single month with predictable consistency. I guarantee it. Feel free to give me a call. I'll share with you what the guarantee is all about. And you, my friend, will sell double digits with predictable consistency every single month, earning a 6-figure income, a job that you just absolutely love. One of our participants, Nikita, has said that already. The investment that he made was really a huge quantum leap, a magnificent step. And he said, Bill, I'm already there. I've already paid for it. Less than a month. Like the tips, the tactics, the strategies, amazing. Anyhow, I'm prattling. I'm babbling. My apologies. Have a wonderful day. Have a super week. And don't forget about these sessions happening every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Free training right here in the Auto Sales Academy, private members group. You have to be in the retail automobile business to be a member. So leave a comment below. Like, let's get engaged. Let's talk to everybody. Post some of your wins that are going on. Let's really amp and pump it up. And do yourself a favor. A high tide raises all ships. Tell all your colleagues that you've joined this group. And this is some of the training that's going on. And then really pat yourself on the back. Give me a call, and let's talk about the manifesto. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye for now.